Welcome to another episode of Addicted to the Q. This is Brad here with Beast My Mistress. We got Brian with Sofa King Awesome and Mark Hunsaker with Hunsaker Smokers. The bum couldn't be with us tonight. He's doing bum things. What's
Hey
going on,
guys.
Mark?
Hey, it's going on, man. We're having a blast over here. We're just going like crazy.
So where's Ryan? Is Ryan still at the shop painting?
Ryan, right now, he looks at this stuff like he wants to be behind the scenes. That's just his thing. But I keep telling him, I said, there's going to come a day where, you're going to have to do this. But for now, I can talk, no problem. Yeah.
So how has business been? You guys been I've seen a lot of pictures. It looks like you guys are selling the heck out of some drums.
Yeah, it's been good. It started out a little bit slow, but it's been steady. We've got a guy. We hired a guy a while back, and one more guy, we've got actually two guys, but two guys added to Ryan and I has made a huge difference. We've got about, I don't know, we probably got 270 or 280 drums that are put together, sanded, and ready for paint. So,
nice.
We're ready to rock and roll. Now we can powder coat, and powder coating, we only got enough carts now for 20 at a time, but we could probably I think we could do 36 at one batch if we wanted to. That's a lot of drums.
That's a lot of drums at once.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So do you guys normally just build a bunch of them and then paint them, or do you normally kind of paint a batch as you go, or how does that work?
In the past I was always chasing after. we'd have we'd be so far behind on stuff that I was just trying to meet the demand. But now that we've got some people, working here, that kind of frees up some opportunities to do some other things. And then since we've started powder coating, we can just do so many more real quick. Because the powder coat thing is pretty fast. You powder it and you roll it over to the oven, and 15 minutes later it's done. You pull it out, let it cool off. You can start putting them together. But that's the process now. I still do some wet painting, but wet painting just takes forever. It's a 2-day turnaround, and there's so many things can go wrong when you paint wet paint. So we're doing more powder now. So, the thing about powder is it's good, but you got to prep the drums right. You can't just go in there and wipe them down and think that's going to take care of it. That's not going to happen. That's where you see a lot of guys have problems with powder, is they don't spend time on the prep.
Yep.
Because we sand every inch of ours with like an 80 grit, and then we come back with a cleaner, and then we come back with an etcher and also a corrosive inhibitor thing. So it's a several step process, but we feel like that pays off down the road. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I also noticed you guys, kind of off the subject too, you guys started making a heavy duty Weber kettle grate.
Oh, yeah, we got into the Weber kettles and the Weber Smoky Mountains. We got into that pretty hot and heavy. We make a lot of griddle plates for the Weber kettles, and because Ryan and I sat down and looked at this, and we said, wait a minute, there's a ton of these Weber kettles out there, and WSMs far more than there are drums.
Yep.
And who knows how many, hundreds of thousands of those things are out there, but they're very popular. The price point's good for them, and the porcelain enamel that you put on, that the Weber puts on those, is almost indestructible unless you drop it. It's kind of like glass, really. And a lot of those guys have those WSMs and those kettles out there. They've had them for 20, 30 years. They're just fine.
Yeah.
I wish we could do porcelain enamel on our stuff, but it is too expensive.
I could say that.
Yeah, it's very cash intensive if you tried to do that kind of stuff, and very few companies could afford to do it. If they're doing it, they're probably doing it more overseas, really, to be honest about it.
I need to come see you for a 22-inch kettle griddle, because I like cooking breakfast and stuff, but I've never cooked one on that, so that might be something to try.
the kettles are so they're little workhorses.
They are.
You can do a lot of stuff, indirect cooking, and we make a lot of products for the Weber kettles and the WSMs now, and it keeps us busy. Hanging racks and all that. Those Weber guys, man, they got after it when they figured out they really didn't need that water pan in there, and could hang anything. They got after it. So
I got Mr. Kevin's griddle plate for the Weber.
Yep.
He stopped using his Weber and everything. He's like, "You want this?" Gave it to me in a bag. He goes, "You might need to clean it though." And I looked in it, and he's like, "Last thing I cooked on it was burgers. Looks like they're still on there."
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. It's but just for it's 11 gauge carbon steel. I mean, Ryan made, I don't know, who knows how many thousands of those things and shipped them out during COVID. I mean, let's face it, COVID was a terrible deal, but man, in the barbecue world, everybody stayed home and
nothing else to do.
And we were busy as could be, during COVID. Well, we hope that doesn't happen again, but who knows? What
was I gonna? Oh yeah, I saw a guy at the Arctic or the cook-off I went to the end of February had a WSM. Well, it was Rob WSM with a Hunsaker basket and vortex in it.
Yeah. Those guys once they realized, like I said, they didn't really need the water pan anymore. They wrapped their arms around. They jumped headfirst into the vortex basket and just eating it up.
Oh
yeah. It was fun watching these guys transform because when we first started, talking about hot and fast with the WSM guys, because those were always low and slow. And the WSM guys, I kind of tiptoed into it because I didn't want to, make anybody mad. But once they figured out that they could cook hot and fast without the water pan, man, it was off to the races there. This guy's go nuts on it. So,
the
water
pan works good to keep it low and slow, but I mean, like I said, if you want to cook hot and fast, then
Yeah.
So switching gears, something I just used a couple weeks ago, which I've seen the original man use them about 1,000 times, is the bub cage. How did he come up with the design, and then you said, "I'm going to build that," or how did all that come about?
Yeah, Bub called me up one day, and anybody that knows Bub, that's Eric Burkhart for you guys who don't, He let's see, when did he win the Royal? Was it 2007? 7, yeah. Well, anyway, everybody knows Bub. He lives and breathes barbecue. And he said, "Hey Mark, I got an idea. I'd like to run it by you and see what you think." Because he'd come up here and he's like, "Well, I kind of want it made like this and this and this, all these little breaks and stuff." And I had the breaks we could make it. So we made a rough one to start with, and he tried it out, and sure enough, I mean, it works good. But I think we're on version 3 now. Version 3. We started out expanded metal, then we went to a sheet and we cut it out on the plasma. Then we went to wire, stainless steel wire. And that just, opened it up, makes it so it breathes better. But a lot of guys like it. They ask, "Well, do you have to have it?" No, you don't have to have it. But it's just another tool for the tool chest.
Mm-hmm.
So. The thing that I kind of liked about it at first was because I've watched Bub do it about 1,000 times.
Yep.
So I just, which anybody that knows Eric Burkhart, his drums are immaculate. I mean, he hardly ever cooks anything on them. I saw his drums in Columbia, and I said, "You don't cook too much on those things, do you?" As they're all rusty. He goes, "Ugly wins sometimes, but ugly wins."
Yep. Well, let's see. What's Bub say about those drums? Something about there's show drums and there's cooking drums or something. I forgot what it was. And he's got a saying, for that kind of stuff. But basically, doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it cooks. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
I was mad at it.
Bub was cooking on drums before drums were even cool at all.
Oh yeah.
He said the ones he won the Royal on didn't even have a gauge to them. He just cooked. He said the meat doesn't know what you cook it at.
You know, I heard stories about him showing up at these contests the morning of the contest, you know, and fire those things up. He'd get them in around 400 or more degrees and throw some meat on there, and you know, did pretty well.
Yep.
But yeah, he had no gauges. I don't think he had. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted more, you know, more air, you crack the lid open a little bit.
I showed pictures of people because every once in a while he'll come to my work to deliver some sauce, and I show them pictures of the drums he won the American Royal on, and they're kind of amazed. I said they're not fancy by any means.
They're basic, yeah. But I'm glad he's cooking on our drums because he's helped us out quite a bit.
I keep joking with him. I said, "Think you ought to get those repainted?" Nah, he'll be all right.
Yeah. I've offered to repaint him. I've offered to do a few things, and he's like, "Nah." Now I will say, what was it, last year or maybe 2 years ago? He did come up with his basket. Now, who knows how many thousands of pounds he cooked in his drums on that old basket, that original version we had, you know, with the pizza pan. And this thing was seriously falling apart. It was just flat falling apart. And Bub asked me, he said, "You think we can fix it?" And I said, "No, Bub, we're not going to fix it. There's nothing to weld to anymore. It's gone. It's just toast." And so anyway, I sent him home with a new one. Yeah.
Hillbilly offense. Yeah, hillbilly offense comes into play every now and then. So one thing I did. What's that?
He likes to sneak up on him.
Yeah. One thing I did notice about the bub cage that I really liked was when I lit it, I didn't take the basket out of the drum. I lit it in the drum, let it go about 10 minutes, put the vortex on, closed everything up, left it wide open. It went from, I have a YouTube video. It went from first it was like 5 minutes. I think all said and done, between the 10 minutes that I let it sit open, total time was 25 minutes till I was at my temperature. I feel like it climbs faster because it's more, the charcoal's more directed around it.
Yeah, that, and I think it also helps create good airflow.
Yes.
You know, because the problem you have with some, you know, each bag of lump's going to vary from one bag to another. Some's going to have, you know, the perfect size and everything, but that doesn't happen very often.
No.
Some are going to have just huge pieces in there that aren't fun to work with either.
No.
You got to break them up, or they have a lot of fines or dust, which is terrible. But anyway, the bub cage seems to help, you know, promote more even airflow. And that's important on any cook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope. I put one in there, and I took it out the other day for something, but I'll put it back. I really liked it. It took me I've had it in my garage for 4 months before I ever got it out to use it. And the other day I was like, I'm gonna try this, and I really like it. So
I like it too. It's just, I don't know. I don't cook as much as, it's just my wife and I, you know, so I don't cook a lot. So
weather got warm last week, and I think I cooked every night of the week last week.
You cooked a lot.
Yeah. We were all due for a cook. I know I cooked a pork butt, and I don't know. I got a half a beef today and realized I didn't have much room in a freezer. So I pulled 2 pork butts out. They're you know, they were frozen, so they're rock hard. Probably I can use them next week sometime because it'll take forever. They're like bricks.
Yeah.
You know, I only buy that kind of stuff when it's on sale anyway. So
I cooked one night when it was 6 degrees, and I said, "There's a fine line between dedication and stupidity." I'm not sure which one, but
well, yeah, I know. It's you sometimes you have a moment where you reflect on that. It's like, was this a good idea? I don't know.
As I'm sitting out there, my fingers going numb, trying to flip food. I'm like, it could be warm inside.
I can't feel my fingers.
The one thing that is nice about the Hunsakers, and Brian can attest to this, they really don't care what temperature it is outside.
No, they don't seem to care. The temperatures don't matter, and it doesn't really matter much on the wind either. I think that bottom air intake makes a big difference. So,
the cold mornings at the Backyard Royal, I put my hands right on the top of the Hunsaker, just warm them up a little bit.
Yep.
The worst I ever saw was down there in Shawnee for the Rib Cook-Off World Championship. The wind was just, it was coming from every direction, just whipping around there.
Yeah.
I think I was more miserable trying to get the food in and out of it than it was the actual cook. I mean, it didn't mess with temp one bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you've always said before is true. You can cook I've cooked anything from 150 to 500 degrees on that. You just have to know how to control the air.
It's all about airflow, airflow control. That's what it boils down to. Is, the guys who are struggling with their temperature and how to manage it, it just boils right down to airflow. You got to control your airflow, or you just can't control anything. So
yeah.
Well, who we saw that not that long ago that was talking about how he controls his, and I've cooked that way too, where he leaves the top wide open and almost shuts the bottom half completely down.
Yeah.
It was a steak cook. I can't remember his name now.
Oh, I know. Dirk Mullins was he likes to do it that way.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, as long as you control the airflow, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But I know there are a few guys out there that's what they do, and the way I look at it, shoot, that works. Why not? Go for it.
Still, whether you control it from the intake or the exhaust, it's all about the vacuum of airflow coming through it.
All about airflow. Yeah. Yep.
So what's new in the world of Hunsaker smokers?
Now you're getting into some kind of
that you can't talk
area
about.
There.
What new things can you talk about?
Okay. We've got some new tools and new machines
Nice.
that's going to allow us to do some different metalworking. Yeah. Let's just say, I don't know. I gotta be careful here.
You got some stuff in the works.
Yeah, we got some stuff in the works, right? Yeah, we'll get into. Okay. So we are taking the rest of the building. We had a couple guys move out, so we're taking the rest of the building. We desperately needed that space, but we're going to move all the grates that are in one section, move it to another section, and dedicate this. It's broke down into what? Let's see, A, B, C, D, E, and F. So it's got like 5 sections. Because at one time, each of those sections is rented out to different people at one time. So we're going to take the middle section, which is C, where all the racks, the stainless steel grates are.
Yep.
That is going to be the clean room, because you got the plasma room and the welding room next to it in B. That's the dirty room, because that's just dirty. But we're going to take C, turn that into and dedicate that to laser. I got a laser welder. This thing is cool. I don't know if you guys ever been around a laser welder, but sometime you're over here, I'll have to show you what it's all about. We're all familiar with MIG and TIG and stick and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We got this laser welder, and I'll tell you what, I think I just died and went to heaven. This thing is awesome. I mean, the welds are it's like TIG on steroids.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's, if you've seen good TIG welding, this thing is like TIG on steroids. I can weld probably 8 to 10 times faster with the laser than we can with the TIG.
Jeez.
And I don't have to worry about sticking the electrode either. So, it works out pretty good.
That was always.
Now, does that keep Ryan looking cleaner? Because I've seen his clothes before. Right. Nobody in that shop is clean. We're pretty dirty, most of the time. Yeah, we get into our work. So
does Ryan still do all the banding of the plastic around all the drums? Still
the what now?
Does Ryan still do all the plastic wrap around the drums?
Oh yeah. He is the wrap master. He's got a reputation for being the guy who can wrap a drum like very few can. And I try to help him, but he basically says you're not needed here. So
get out of the way.
Dad, I got this. So I'm okay, fine. I'll go do something else.
A couple years ago, when you had that contest at your shop, that's where I'm getting to the point here. Ryan brought out it was like a little grill that he had that was the portable little, like a
Oh,
V
that
kind of
camp grill.
Yes. Are you
Yeah.
guys still making those, or what?
Yeah, we're still making them, but not very often. But I will say, okay, so we were cutting everything out on the plasma table, which plasma is fine. I like plasma. I mean, that old plasma table we got has paid for itself many, many times.
Oh yeah.
But that being said, we are getting a laser. It'll cut 5x8 sheets all day long, and so we've got a laser coming, and we've got another machine coming in that's a 4-roll roller, and we'll be able to do up to about 1/4-inch plate material, and we can make all kinds of stuff, roll it that way. So and then we've got that other machine in there that's called a mega roller, and it's designed to if you put big pipes on there, or let's say you were gonna go out and start making these propane tanks, these offsets. This thing's got like a 16-foot table on it, and it's got a computer and a plasma and all that stuff. We could set those things on there and cut those things out if we wanted to, but I don't know. We just don't have time to do all that stuff. So
one thing I will say for anybody on the fence about getting one of these, the customer service is next to none, and you guys have built a lot of parts around feedback from people who run.
Oh yeah. So somebody comes in or calls us up and says, have you thought about doing this? And well, maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I don't know. But there's a lot of things that go into deciding whether you're going to, take on another product.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you got to think about. What's the cost, and then how hard it's going to take to make, and is it take more time than it's worth? Is it going to ship good? Is it going to nest good because you got limited amount of storage in your shop? So all those grates that we make, they all nest. So like the hanging racks, they all nest. So we're stacking 100 of them in the same footprint as one. So you always got to look at all that stuff, and then of course the shipping's a big deal too. You got to think about, well, is this thing going to ship at a reasonable price? So there's a lot of stuff to think about. And will they buy it? Does it solve a problem? Will they like it enough to buy? Because if we go out and come up with a new product, we go to some, like say the company that we have make the wire products for us. I can't just make one. We got to have like at least 200 or 300 made at a time to make it feasible.
Yeah.
So, we're taking a big chance on a lot of that stuff, and we've, you don't hit a home run every time you get up to the plate. So there are times where we're sitting on a lot of stock that's not moving, and that might be due to the fact that we don't market. We're very blessed because we have so many guys like you guys out there who tell other people about some of the products.
Yep.
And you kind of like a built-in sales department, I guess, to some degree, because we depend a lot on word of mouth and social media. Because advertising is expensive and it's hit and miss.
Yes, it is.
You can spend a lot of money on advertising. What we would rather do is not maybe spend so much money on advertising, but we want the product to speak for itself. But we want to spend more money on equipment so we can make the products. That's just the way we operate.
Well, you got good advertising, like your the jack drums.
You
do drums for the jack, and then you turn around. It's like these will have one cook on them. They're for these teams, like international teams. It's like when they're done, these are for sale. Who wants them? And they're all painted up. Jack Daniel logo for that year. Everything. It's pretty slick deal.
Plus, they have, then you see your drums at the jack, and people walk by, or other teams walk by and see them, and
I enjoy going to the jack. It's a neat experience. I don't know. Have you guys been to that jack yet?
I want to go one of these years.
Put that on your bucket list. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty
Memphis
neat.
in May and Houston also on the bucket list, but we'll see.
We did Memphis in May. Was it last year? I think it was.
Yeah.
That was fun, but that's a kind of a different contest because it seems to be more about show, then I mean, it's a lot of showmanship goes on in that thing, and the whole hog is a big deal. It's most of your KCBS contests you don't see whole hog.
Yeah.
You can tell it's a different sanctioning body. It's a whole different area.
Oh, it is definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
I still remember, who was it back on season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters with Johnny Trigg, and said it's a horse and pony show.
Well, yeah, I've heard that before. A lot of guys will say, yeah, that's more of a kind of a horse and pony show, or and some of these guys, I mean, they're pretty serious about it. They're spending some serious money on their place, their show.
$100,000 to sell you, for a first place ribbon.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and some of those guys are, I think a lot of those teams, they pick somebody on their team that's kind of a showman, I mean, like, say, for example, I don't know, Myron Mixon, he's a showman. He knows how to talk to people. But you got to find somebody that's, willing to really have a good way about talking to people and explaining to the judges, this is our process, this is what we do, why we do it. And because you're trying to win over the judges. I think the way it looks to me, you're trying to win over them liking you, really. And your food, of course. Yeah.
And it's one of those deals. You can't cook that. I mean, I used to wonder why teams were so big for that contest, but now I'm starting to see why. I mean, you got to have a big team for the amount of meat.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things going on at that contest.
Well, it's like Michelle O'Quinn said, the Memphis May rep we just interviewed. She was like, you go out and you get people strictly to clean the dishes, people to strictly come out, clean your spot up, and get you turned over with new apron, new tablecloth, all for the next judge. Like, you're not doing it. You're focused.
You got to look presentable, and you got to stay on your A game to do the presentation.
You're right. Yeah, it's A game. You got to be ready to rock and roll, and there's no mistakes, because you make a mistake, you might as well forget it.
Yeah,
because they're going to move on to somebody else. Yeah.
So the Jack, there's the Jack is always one of those contests just because where it's at and all that. I've always wanted to go down into the hollow.
The history, the location in the hollow, and the people that you come into contact with down there. They're just the nicest people. They're down to earth. It's Lynchburg is kind of a small town, really, and I mean, if it's got a lot of history there, and it's just a really cool place. And then you also get to go up on the hill where they have this special, pavilion, and there's bands up there playing. Heck, you can get your hair cut up there. I see it.
Nice.
You go up there, like, all these guys are getting their hair cut. They have barbers up there on this hill, and everybody's having a good old time, and they're serving all kinds of fun stuff to drink, and the food is crazy good. And you see a lot of people that you may have talked to on the phone or emailed back and forth. That's what I like to do when I go to these things, is actually get to meet some of the people that I talk to, but I never get to meet because they're somewhere else in the country. That's a blast.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I like competition barbecue. It seems like usually, no matter where, which I've cooked in Tennessee, Oklahoma, I've cooked in did some driving, but that's one thing I liked about cooking in Tennessee was the invitational. Was I saw a lot of teams from over on the East Coast that I don't hardly normally see, or the Mid-Atlantic. So that was interesting. I met a lot of different teams on that contest.
That's one of the things I've always liked about the barbecue community is they are a big family, and they will give the blooming shirt off their back to help you out. Even though you're a competitor, they will still do it. We hear stories about some guys who have, problems with their tires or their bearings on their trailer, or, they break down, their springs break or whatever, and probably another competition guy is going to be coming behind you. And if he sees that you're a competition guy, he is going to pull over and give you a hand, do whatever he can, so. I wish more people were like that.
When I did the invitational, Well, that's why I cooked the contest in Boonville, and my dad came and helped me, and I had two good buddies around that I've cooked with all the time, and I borrowed something from them, and they borrowed. He goes, "Do you guys know you're competing against each other, right?" Yeah, we know. I said, but I'm still going to help him get whatever he needs because I don't want to beat him when he's got a leg down. You want to beat him at his best.
No. I mean, we're all human. We can forget stuff. I mean, heck, you forget charcoal. Who knows? I mean, you can forget thermometer. Yeah, all kinds of tools. You can forget that stuff, and it's like, well, crud. Now I don't have time to get it. I bet somebody else has got one. So you just kind of go walk around. Hey, you got an extra one of these? Sure. Here you go. And that's what I like about competition barbecue. It's we're all there. They want to win, but they don't want to, they just want to have a good time.
I loaned somebody an injector for chicken, and I got first place chicken that day. I said, I think I need to loan out more injectors more often.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's the fun thing. And then like the contest I did in Oklahoma, there's a lot of Texas people because it was the rib cook-off, and they did a barbecue compound to where they had like 6 different trailers, and they did a big U, and they did all solo stoves. And I had the best amount of fun. We went up. I mean, they treated me like I was been friends with them my entire life.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even though you just met. But,
yes.
Speaking of solo stoves, we are getting into more fire. We're going to get into some more fire pits. I love smokeless fire pits. We're going to start designing some of those. And you guys seen rocket stoves? I'm attracted to them. I'm thinking they're pretty cool. So we'll, but I'm not going to copy anybody. That's been done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. We'll just come up with something new. So,
I like that idea. I need to come see you anyway because I think I'm going to get a second grate for my drum. That way I can put a water pan and spin it.
Yeah.
Did we ever? We tossed that around on the Facebook page for a while. What did we kind of ever come up with a solution for the being able to spin the grate?
Oh, well, there's a couple options. What a lot of guys do is if you've got the pin racks, because we got 2 different rack support systems. One with the pin racks, that we use, and then there's another one with the non-pin racks, great supports. But what you can do if you got the pin rack system, just flip the grate over and get you a cheap old Weber grate or something, whatever. We have grates too, but if you want them, but just use that as your spinner. You just put a grate on top of another one; it works fine. Or you can get. The other day we sent, we sent 3 smokers down to a guy who specifically requested we put the grate supports that allow for the 360-degree free spin. We did that for him just because he requested it. But and we use our non-pin, our heavy-duty racks, but they're non-pin, and they really fit in there good. But the drawback to that is, you've got to tilt the rack a little bit, but not as much as you would say if you had a bunch of studs sticking in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and that's what Bum had. I looked at his drum at the Royal, and that's what his are, is those little J looking hooks he sits them on.
Yeah. Some guys have that now. I will say one of the guys, Kyle and Amy Kuhn. Now they just won the American Royal Invitational last year, and they cook on our stuff.
I did not realize that until after the fact.
Yeah. And Kyle told me that day he and Amy came over, and they were going to go over to the KCBS banquet. So they stopped in. We went out and had pizza. But anyway, he said, well, he cut the pins off his racks, and he just bent those tabs in a little bit on those grate supports. Yeah, he was good. Yeah. He's an HVAC man by trade. So
I guess creative.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
So you've got a few world championships from the Hunsaker. Cody with Kokomo Smoke a couple of years ago, and the Royal and Bub, and you've got a few world champions.
Oh yeah, we've had a few over the years. Yeah. It's always kind of fun, when I was up at Cairo, Missouri, at let's see, it was a it was around Thanksgiving, so we were having a turkey dinner up there, and I told my wife, I said, well, I'm gonna go out and listen to the award ceremony for the invitational there for the Royal. And I was out there, and it was a nasty night over there at Kansas. I heard it was just nasty as could be.
We kept trying to hide under canopies and tents because it was raining so damn hard.
Yeah, yeah. So you know how it is. They're calling off, the names, and I recognize, some of the guys that are cooking on our smokers were getting their names called, and I thought, you never know. It's like the American Roll is the biggest barbecue crap shoot in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
I could never predict the winner.
You never know what's going to happen. Well, then all of a sudden they call out to Amy and Kyle's team name, and I about lost my teeth. They got the grand championship, and could not have happened to better people. These are wonderful people. Down to earth, and Amy makes the best banana cake or sheet cake you ever had.
I actually had to be up front because I was helping with Kids Q ushering, so I was like 20 foot from the stage. So that was really. I'd never seen a grown man, like, he just looked like he'd be a tough, and he lost it when they won. Like, he just, of course, all the corn cookers and all the Iowa, like all that whole area, of course, was all up front, and it was,
they're all good buddies. Yeah,
I swear, I mean, every world champion I've ever seen, the look on their face, like they first they can't believe it, and then it's but like I said, I've never been one to predict it. Usually I have about 3 or 4 names, and they call them in the top 10, and it's never reserve or grand, and I'm like, who won this damn thing?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times everything is just, when you get to the top 10%, everything is just so close.
Yeah.
And it's just a fraction of a point can make a big difference.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah. Well, like Ryan
I was tickled pink when I heard their name called. I thought, it kind of gave me goosebumps. I was out on my Jeep, dark night out there. I was listening to it on the radio, and I thought, are you kidding me? I probably screamed just a couple times while I was listening to it because I thought I was so excited about it.
Once I went back and looked at the scores, afterwards, I said, okay, that makes sense. But when you're there in the moment, they go through so many names and so many people. You're like, all you can remember is, they got a couple calls, but you can't really remember where it fell. Which, like Eric Burkhart said one year, I forgot, he didn't even get top 10 because he said he got so bad in brisket, but everything else, all 3 were there, and he just screwed up brisket, and it just tanked him.
Yeah. Well, there's those guys are all really good at that level, but sometimes there's 1 or 2 that just don't quite make it, and that just blows them out of the water.
Yeah.
But that's competition barbecue for you.
Yeah, very much is.
I mean, it's very subjective. A lot of judges are looking at things different. There's some luck involved. I'm of the opinion
that contest.
Well,
you have to cook good food and be lucky, but you're not going to get lucky and win it. You have to cook good food.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt to get a good table. It hurts to get a bad table.
That too. So with you getting the whole building, are you going to be up to doing some more high school classes or?
Oh yeah.
We had a lot of fun doing that last year.
Yeah. So what? I haven't talked to Ryan about this yet, but he's watching this now. I'm sure he is. But what I'd like to do is have some space where we could do some classes. Yeah. But I'd like to get the high school kids back, this spring. And that was fun when we did that last year. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
I was talking with a couple of the guys and Michael Goff, and we were trying to get something together, but with the high schools, like they're just saying, like, let's do March or April, and I'm like, guys, we need to do a fall, something in the fall. Yeah. Like say, hey, let's go down mid-November, get it knocked out. That way you have winter and spring to be practicing at your school, not wait until like 1 month till the big contest.
March and April sucks for busy time. Like March, April
it is. Yeah, it is. So I know I talked to Michael a while back, and he was talking about having something, but I haven't heard any more about it. So
I nipped him in the bud going, we can't do this. I'm busy. Michael had a bunch of stuff going on. The schools are like, well, we got this, and this. Let's do this. I'm like, that's Mother's Day weekend. I'm not getting yelled at. You know, it's like,
I know. No.
Easter, can't do that. So I just told them this year I'm going to reach out and just be like, look, do you guys have anything in mid-November that we can do? Get the kids on a Friday down there or something.
Yeah. Well, just let me know when you want to do it. We'll try to make it happen.
Yeah.
I love the high school barbecue stuff. It's so much fun watching these kids. And, one of the things I noticed, and I've been to a few of these contests, they are not on their cell phones. It is business, and they are serious about it. So these kids are going to be coming up the ranks, and they're going to be some serious contenders.
Yeah.
Well, I have
and a lot of girls are on these teams.
Yeah.
And what's funny is the girls are the organized ones. That's my take on it. They are the organized ones. The guys, they'll do what they're told to do. But the girls, a lot of times, they're the ones that are calling out the orders and organizing on the times and everything. They're the guys are kind of messing around sometimes, but not all of them. Some of them do. But
I told Chuck Simpson last year, I think it was the middle school Osceola team, and one of them cut themselves on a foil or something. But they were by far the most well-behaved high school kids I think I've ever seen. Like, they got there, it was all business. They wanted to learn. They asked good questions.
Yeah.
And to me, I do that every day of the week compared to, like I said, I do soup dinners and a bunch of stuff with our high school kids, and sometimes I just want to beat my head against the wall because we look at them half the time and they're absorbed in Snapchat and TikTok. And
right. No, I went to the National High School Barbecue Association Nationals at Branson last. I think it was June, maybe. I don't know. It's warm.
June.
And all those kids, their manners were great. They were serious about it. They weren't they were having fun, but they weren't doing stupid stuff. I mean, it was impressive. And it just kind of made me feel good about the next generation that's coming in. There's a lot of potential for them. So
it's weird, though. I almost feel like this is going to sound really crazy, but like with generations, but there was a generation kind of in the middle that's kind of one of the ones that scare me. But I feel like this next generation coming up is kind of the in between that's kind of got some of their crap together. I feel like.
Yeah.
But no, I have a team. Well, I can't get a team started in my hometown, so I got a buddy that does it in Tipton, and he's got a team. So I'm hoping maybe I can work something out and get him there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's some folks out there. I mean, what it really takes is somebody at the school. A lot of times, it's an FFA teacher or an ag teacher or something, because that's just kind of, and our football coach, sometimes we see that, and like Hallsville's got a football coach, and I don't know, but I think, and an ag guy too, of course, but it's all about spending time with these kids.
Football and ag,
but it's all about spending time with his kids, and that's what makes a huge difference, because they're going to eat the rest of their life. But learning how to do it and do it right, and hopefully not cutting your fingers off, that's a good thing. So I encourage everybody to help somebody out doing that.
So are you thinking about having another contest this summer, or is that?
I don't know when. I'd like to have another one, but I don't know if our place is the place to have it. I mean, it was pretty tight, and there's some acreage, to the east, that we could have some stuff out there, but I've got to clean this place up a little bit because I got a mountain of steel in the way.
I did enjoy the contest and the kind of the collaboration. That's how I met the guy behind. That's how I met Aaron for Sticky Pig with. Yeah, he was right behind me.
Yeah. I mean, we were all pretty cozy at that contest. I mean, we were butted up next to each other, but it was fun. I mean, I heard everybody I talked to said they had a good time. But yeah, I'd kind of like to do something again. It's just trying to figure out a time to do it is hard. But we'll have to look at it and see. And maybe there's another place in town we can have it, because, SCA is big, the Rib Cook-Off Association's big. Those are opportunities there that we could get guys in. They wouldn't have to necessarily do, all 4 meats or anything like that. I think it's just folks getting together and having a good time cooking.
Yeah.
I think Rib Cook-Off is now getting to where they're going to do ribs, I think, and chicken wings for pretty much there.
Yeah.
And I did 2 of their contests last year, and I enjoyed the heck out of them.
Yeah, they're great. I think what Dirk and Jody are doing is fantastic, and they love what you can tell. They love what they're doing, and they're excited about it. So that makes a big difference. And
they're cooks themselves, so that's like they said, they wanted to do with them something that was all about the cooks, and it's just laid back. And the thing I really like about it, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but the whole and SCA does it that way with the ticket, because they don't even know who got what place until awards. Yeah. Which I'd like to say KCBS wouldn't do that, but you just always have that in the back of your mind. This eliminates that 100%. Yeah, that's a mystery right up until the end. Yeah. But there's all this competition stuff has gone different, a lot of different directions, but there's opportunity to do. If you want to just cook steaks, great. If you want to cook ribs, fine. Yep. If you want to cook all 4 categories, go for it. There's so many things out there. I'd like to sometimes see a live fire competition, where you just actually are cooking over an open pit.
Yeah, World Food Championship, they do that. I'd like to see that, like you had it, just one of our competitions. That'd be something cool. That's what I like, the sides, the just the different things in the 4 meats. That's why KCBS, the backyard coming up in March, I was like, I'm going to enter the steak one. Why not? I'll probably finish last, and hopefully 10 people, if it's, I finish last, I get more.
I've kicked around. I've kicked around something. Let's say somebody came up with a grill that was kind of a thin profile, where cooks could be on opposite sides of it, but this thing being kind of a long one, and you fill it full of charcoal, and you're cooking. You're all cooking together on basically the same pit, but you're shoulder to shoulder, and you've got the same charcoal, you got all that stuff, and you're just having a good old time. You can put your own rub on or whatever, but I don't know. Some days I'm thinking, you know what, we've got the stuff to make that. That'd be kind of fun, just make a big old trough. Charcoal trough.
Like you did for a little while in your Facebook group. What do you want to cook on your Hunsaker for this month? Let's do an entry, like the Mexican food or whatever.
I like that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Throw something like that, like an enchilada entry, or just anything rather than the 4 meats. Yeah, we all do that constantly. Let's throw something else into that mix.
I did enjoy that.
You can do it. I've always said you can cook more than just the meat on there. You can do so much more, like the enchilada.
Yeah. Actually, you won that. You got a prize on that one, didn't you?
I won it.
Yeah, you won it.
Brian, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah. I thought you did.
I got my prize. I do enchiladas on it all the time. I tell people, I've done donuts on a smoker. There's so much you can do.
Oh yeah, pizza, casseroles,
pizzas,
you name it. Yeah, it's basically an outdoor oven, So and you can do a lot more on an outdoor oven than you can do an indoor oven. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch on. Brian, you got anything to touch on? I'm interested in the solo or the smokeless fire pits. That's because we have a camp.
I like the smokeless fire pits. We've made a lot of fire pits over the years, but man, that smoke stings my eyes. I don't like pain. I'm not a big fan of pain anymore. So,
Well, we have a camper, so that'd be really good to sit outside of the camper with one.
It would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even just people in their backyards. Non-cooking people that they're buying solo stoves, I assume, as their fire pit out back. So, I mean, that could be a huge hit.
There's something about a fire that just calms your nerves. It causes you to slow down and enjoy life. I know there's a scientific thing, something about the fire produces some kind of some kind of a light that calms people down. Well, I don't know what it is, but it does kind of calm you down. It's just something about it mesmerizes you and causes you to just breathe and enjoy life. And that's what it should be about.
Not tranquil. Oh God, the hypnotizing type thing where it's just
right.
Focused on it. You're listening.
I saw something the other day. The crackles and all that stuff. It just does something to the human psyche. It just kind of causes you to unwind a little bit and just enjoy it. Now, it doesn't hurt to have maybe a little something to drink too, every once in a while. But
that's what I did. That's what I had at the Royal. We were all sitting around the fire and just enjoying.
That's what my neighbor across the street and I do. Bill, we'll sit out there around the fire and we'll do a little American honey and club soda and just sit there all night.
Yep. Now I'm gonna have to. I got another smoker I'm needing to get from you. I'm not sure when, but I want to come down and take a tour of the new parts of the shop. Check it all out.
Yeah, check it out. If we would have had all our stuff in place, what Ryan wanted to do was for this, and we can do it some other time. For this interview is actually do a tour of the shop where I go around and do a little tour of all the different things going on around there.
We could make that work. We could come up for a video for that in general. That would be really cool.
Well, actually, what I was thinking about, since you guys are into the rubs pretty good, I was kind of thinking about a spring fling or something, pretty quick coming up because now we've got more room.
Yep.
And, we could maybe do something where all the guys who have different rubs or sauces want to come in and we just have a get together. We could call it, I don't know, I was thinking spring fling or something like that, or spring tune up or whatever. But, just something, get the guys together and just kind of have a good time before the competitive barbecue season kicks into high gear.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's hard to find dates to do stuff, but we ought to take a look at that because here we are, first part of March, maybe the next 3 or 4 weeks, we ought to be doing something.
I think so too. That'd be a lot of fun.
Get Michael in on this and Kevin and all those guys.
I know the 21st is the Backyard Royal, so that's
out.
A bunch of us are out on that one.
Yeah, that's out. But
it's only your problem.
So take a look at your calendar. Take a look at your calendar and see if we can come up with something.
My calendar is pretty open other than that because I'm trying to remodel a bathroom.
Oh. Well, Bradley, I hear Bradley's pretty good at that kind of stuff.
No, Bradley is good. If you want to screw it up worse, then you call me. I have no mechanically inclined whatsoever.
I'm 8 months into this because I hate showers and tiling them and all the special cuts. And I'm like, I'm taking my sweet time doing this to where the wife won't get mad.
Yep.
I fix shit. I call a handyman, or I call the heating and cooling guy, or I call an appliance man. And
you know somebody, right?
Well, me and my wife, after our third time of trying different parts to fix our dryer, I said, I'm done tearing this damn thing apart while I'm paying for somebody to come
third time I'm out.
Yeah, because it's like a car. We kept replacing stuff and it still wouldn't work. I'm like, I'm done with this. I want somebody to come here and come fix it.
I'm going to go fire my smoker up. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I did it on our dryer. One of the little wheels that kept jacking up. So I just finally looked at my wife, got all the part numbers. I go, I'm ordering all the guts. I literally gutted it and put it all back together. Ooh, it ran like brand new. I was like,
there you go. Yep.
My wife has
bought one.
My wife has a lovely thing. I don't know why. All of a sudden I'll start it'd be like 9:00 on a Sunday, and I see her walking in to start something, and I'm like, "Why are we starting this?" She ain't afraid to take anything apart, but getting it back together and getting it fixed sometimes a little.
Yeah.
Brian's gonna come fix my garage, I think, aren't you?
I can.
I got
mine done first.
Ready to get fixed to that.
If you don't mind, like this summer or next fall, let me do my bathroom and get that done.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I'm in no rush, even though I have stray cats living in it now because it's all open because it burned. But I have to get burned.
You have to get them out for me to get in.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way. Maybe there's not that many mice around.
I don't have any mice in there, though, I don't think.
Yeah, I would try to look at, half glass. The glass is half full. That's kind of what I like to look at there.
Yeah, that's what I do with snakes. Hey, there ain't no mice over there, though.
Yeah, right.
Wait. Did you say I would have to get them out? Aren't you the pest control guy? Shouldn't you be getting them out ahead of time?
Those are cats. They're not pests.
Good point. Yep.
Well, thank you for coming on, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good talking to you. Yeah, let's get something
Anytime.
going. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, let's circle around and see if we can figure out maybe a date where we can have our spring tune-up, invite some of the other guys in that have rubbed or sauces, and just have a good time. Let's try some stuff out. I've got a few extra smokers laying around.
Good time to try some different stuff on things, and that way everybody gets to try it. I like it.
Yeah. I'll reach out about the high school stuff.
Yeah, let's try to get that figured out too. I'm in on that again.
Yeah, maybe we can get another high school team or two together, a new one.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. So,
well, that sounds good. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody.